Really special. This is an American HPF horsepower factory XR500 Monoshock. They built about 14 approximately, and this is one of the original early 80s bikes, and it's probably only one of two surviving monos in the UK now. A guy called Malcolm McCasey, who was Mr. HPF, used to build some exotic bikes made of all the top components. And what he basically did was he ordered some C&J frames from Jeff Cole and then basically sourced all the good parts. He put Fox factory forks on them. He had the Thorwaldsen swing arm, and this one's similar to the Unitrack system of the 1980 Kawasaki's, similar design. The frames obviously C&J racing frames. Tanks 1980s CR250 or CR450. The seats are usually CR250 Red Rocket, but this one's a CR125. I used to own one of the original UK bikes, which sadly got converted to twin shock, which, to be quite honest, the United Kingdom's not been very kind to these Monoshock C&J HPFs. It seems that we don't have a class for the Unitrack system and the single shock air-cooled drum brakes generally here in the northwest, so a lot of people have basically removed the back ends and basically added two twin shock mounts and welded lugs onto the swing arms and converted them to twin shock, which is a real shame because there's such a rare bike, and obviously if you spend the time with them and you dial the shock in, absolute wonderful thing. I've raced a couple of these, and this one is a friend of mine's, and I sold it a couple of years ago, and it's come back to these neck of the woods. A friend of mine purchased it, and I'm just doing this feature on it now. This was actually my bike, and I'm happy to see it back in good hands, really, with a view to saving it from being cut up. This particular example's had the Fox factory forks removed because obviously people take the forks off and either put them on other bikes or they sell them because they command quite a high value, the front forks. But this has got Suzuki front forks on about 1987. I think the front forks used to be off a disc brake model, but they've got the clickers in, and they work quite well. Apart from that, the bike is reasonably original. It's got its original rear sun rim wheel on it, all original. But yeah, obviously the Fox factories are not on it, but you see a lot of bikes where they've removed the Fox factory forks because obviously they go for between £1,500 and £2,000 just for the forks. But in my experience, you fit any forks and you can get them to handle and perform as good as the Fox factories. But it is nice to drop on one with the Fox twin clicker shock and the Fox factory forks. But yeah, a lot of these bikes came with white power shocks and some came with Hulco shocks. This particular model has got the white power remote reservoir shock, which has got the rebound and the compression damping. Quite stunning bikes. The engineering and the quality of them, absolutely out of this world. And it's a travesty that so many of these bikes in the UK now have been converted to twin shock. As I said, there's 14 original 80s bikes been manufactured approximately, and I would say I've seen about 5 or 6 come into the country, and they've all been converted to twin shock, and my personal opinion, they are the holy grail of the C&J models. In the UK, a guy called Ken Hansen won the Haynes 4-stroke championship on them, and they were originally imported by Stuart Nunn Motorcycles. I have a test where Bob Wright and Ken Hansen tested it, and Bob Wright's comment was tremendous low down bottom end power, and Ken Hansen's comment was out of 5 Haynes starts and 4 wins, they've got to be going in the right direction. So as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the only HPF in the country that's actually won a championship with Ken Hansen riding this particular model, and I'm just happy that this one now has survived, and hopefully it's going to be enjoyed and take it to some of the meetings if we can be allowed to ride it. You know, I used to ride it to the classic meetings because it is a 1981 bike, so this bike would have been being raced against Mako 490s 1981, so it is of the period, so hopefully these bikes can be shown out at the meetings and people enjoy the actual model. This particular one has got a Del Auto 36mm carbon. The engine is basically stock. I think it's had some headwork done on it. As I say, it's got the Suzuki forks and front wheel. It's got the original XR Sunrim back wheel as it was turned out the factory. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty much you know, a standard HPF single shock mono. The actual rear suspension's a work of art, and yeah, when I had this a couple of years ago, I actually I remanufactured this rocker, and I managed to move one of the pivot points slightly from its original, and I gained about half a degree tucking angle on the front forks, which made it turn even better, and I still retained the actual near 12-inch of travel. So it's quite dear to my heart, this bike, really. It's like you say, it's a privilege to actually have one in my possession, and my friend Neil, who owns this bike now, has kind of lent it to me to do this feature on it. It has actually got the finned cylinder barrel, which obviously when you get muck and mud, it stops the engine from overheating. This one is stamped up on top. It says Don Vesco on it, but I'm not sure whether Don Vesco's laid his hands on it or not. But yeah, it's in quite good condition. The frame's hardly done anything. It's all ready to roll basically, and to enjoy. As I say, the tanks are all off the CR Hondas, CR 250s and 450s. This has actually got fat bars on it because they're quite strong. So yeah, they're quite a strong set of handlebars. It's got the rubber rear mudguard for the number plates. As I say, it's got the CR 125 seat. But yeah, it's a very special bike, and hopefully we see it at the meetings being campaigned, and take it from there.